Hi guys, Will Terry here, and this video is called something like how I plan to do Inktober this year. And it has been a long time since I've made a video about art. And I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to hold the camera here. I'm actually out of town right now and just decided that I wanted to now is a good time to start making videos again. If you haven't seen my last video, it was rather short. And I would say if you haven't seen that one and you've been following my channel, go watch that one. And maybe watch the one before that. And where I talked about, you know, I lost my wife. My wife died, and that has really taken a toll. And if you see the gap on this channel of videos, that was basically a long time getting through that, and you know, I'm still getting through it. I don't think I've been talking with a lot of people who have gone through the loss of someone significant. You never get through it. You learn how to deal with it. And you know, as someone who has always shared information on my life and using my life as an example, that's why I bring this in. This is basically the first video back where, you know, for the longest time I actually didn't draw. I haven't really drawn for about 3 months, and only recently kind of started to get back into the swing of things again. And if you watch the last video teaser, I have a girlfriend right now, and yeah, that's been really helping. I didn't expect that to happen anywhere near this soon. A lot of people in the comments are like, wow, that's really soon. Yeah, it is. And then, you know, a lot of people were saying, you know, you don't choose when those things happen in your life. You know, you can't really choose when love happens, and they're absolutely right. Didn't ever see it coming this soon, but what a blessing it has been. So anyway, on to the video. I decided, you know, finally, you know, in going through this, you know, and I might actually address something else. A lot of people have written to me and said, over the years, they've said, you know, I don't have the motivation to draw. I just don't feel, you know, for one reason or another, I just don't have the desire to draw. You know, how do I get that back? And you know what? I can't really, even after I've gone through this, I can't really answer, because when I didn't have the motivation to draw, I just didn't. And I tried to force it a couple times, and I just drew crap because I wasn't, and nothing that I did was satisfying at all. And I just didn't want to. I would draw stuff and it wouldn't turn out, and I just basically lost that love and feeling for making art. And luckily, well, it came back, and with a passion. And I think that a lot of that is kind of feeling more settled in life right now, and you know, and having a woman that I'm sharing time with and sharing ideas with, and you know, sharing my life with, has really kind of made me feel more normal and more grounded. So for me, that was a big part of it. So what I want to do in this video is kind of share with you what I plan on doing for Inktober this year. And this is actually the first time I kind of half-heartedly tried to do Inktober a few years ago. Sorry, and I apologize for not being able to edit right now. Being that I'm out of town, I'm filming this on my phone, and I'm just going to upload direct. So whatever happens, if someone comes by and, you know, and yells in my car window or something, then that's going to be on here. But I've always felt like a challenge like Inktober, or what do you want to call it? I guess it's a challenge, a monthly challenge, or a monthly project, or a prompt challenge, or something like that. I feel if you're going to spend the time to do one of those challenges, you need to have more of a vision other than just doing it. If you're if you're like me and you're trying to make money with your art, because then your time is really valuable. Now, if you're someone who is hoping to make money with your art later on, but right now maybe your job is supporting you and you can afford to just kind of fool around, I think that's great to just experiment and do Inktober that way. So, or any other challenge. So I guess what I'm saying is there's a lot of ways to use Inktober to your benefit. The way that I'm doing it is my time has to pay off. I can't really afford right now to, especially after coming through a really unproductive time, I need to make sure that the time I do spend on my art is productive and has a chance of making money. So I'm looking at Inktober to, one, boost my social media. So if you follow me on Instagram, and I'll have a link below, take a note when Inktober starts in a week and a half from now, somewhere in there, what my follower count is on Instagram and what it is at the end of the 30 days. That might be interesting to you. So I'm looking to boost my reach on social media. I'll also post to Facebook and Twitter. The second thing I'm looking for is exposure to art directors to maybe generate some freelance work. The third thing is the project that I'm going to use this for to sell in a few different ways. And so one thing that I'm going to do with the art is I'm going to sell prints. But the second thing that I'm going to do is actually make a matching game for kids. And the sad thing is I don't have enough time to get that matching game done and printed and sold for Halloween this year, because it's a Halloween thing, and I'll give you a little teaser and show you some of the stuff that I've been working on. But it's not going to be ready, so that I will actually sell that next year. But like anything, like any company, when I've worked for M&M Mars on their Halloween campaign, they were working on that. They hired me in July, right? And this was many years. This would have been in the mid 2000s. They hired me in July, not for the following October, but for a year again, October. So about 18 months in advance for Halloween. And that's how important they take it. And in order to do projects, sometimes you have to think that far ahead. So I'm kind of killing two birds with one stone. I'm going to get some Inktober exposure, hopefully get some freelance, sell some prints. But then next year I'm going to actually, for our Little Heroes booth where we go to comic conventions, we'll sell them there. There's a chance that I might launch it on Kickstarter, and then I'll definitely sell it in my shop. So I'm just I'm gonna have to turn the camera around because I don't think I can't flip this. So I'm gonna have to just kind of hope that I can show you this, and I'm gonna just kind of show you that here's some thumbnails of some of the artwork that I'm working on my iPad here. And I'll just go into one right here. Let's see. This is one that I really like that really kind of turned out to me, a little clown character. And basically, it's just, like I said, just little artwork that's basically all the little Halloween characters that you could think of. And I'm going to have 24 of them. And then that actually won't flesh out Inktober, so I have another idea to go along with it to flesh out the final days, and you'll have to follow along to see those on the tail end of the Inktober project. But my feeling is that, some people are going to say, well, you're cheating because you're doing this ahead of time. You can feel that way all you want. It doesn't matter to me at all, because I'm using Inktober to benefit me. If you feel like I'm cheating, that actually will probably make me happy because quite frankly, I don't know why. It just, I get a kick out of people that get triggered by stupid things like that. I'm also doing it digitally. There will be people that will be upset at that. They can be upset all they want. Let me say one thing. One thing from losing my wife is I have completely lost my desire to argue with people. it really put things in perspective of what's really important in this life. And what's important to me is being able to be happy making art, making money with my art, and helping other people with my art. If I'm doing that, I am completely satisfied and happy, and I do not care if someone thinks that I'm doing something wrong when I'm accomplishing those things. They can think that all they want. They can try to drag me into an argument. It's not going to happen. Those of you who know me on Facebook know that I've gotten into a few arguments over issues and things like that, and I pretty much just don't engage anymore. It's just not important to me. What's important to me, like I said, is really trying to have a quality life, and trying to help other people, and trying to support my family. I look at Inktober as, and for those of you who don't know this, one of the coolest things is that Jake Parker, my business partner, created Inktober. I mean, that is amazing. And it's such a huge thing. And so the reason that I'm doing Inktober isn't to do Inktober. It's because there's so much attention paid to it right now, that you will have art directors and editors following people that are tagging their artwork #Inktober. The fact that people will repost or reblog or whatever, reshare, like, subscribe, just everything boosts. It's almost like putting your artwork in front of a big amplifier and just getting, I don't know, 2 times, 5 times, 10 times, 100 times the attention you normally would. So I look at it as a tool. I look at it as a real benefit that I can get more eyes on the stuff that I'm making. And I think that you should look at it in terms of how it can help you with your career, how it can boost your career. I also feel like, for me, and I'm speaking for me, it would be a missed opportunity for me to make one-offs that don't have cohesion. And the reason I say that is when someone starts to do a project and they start to share it every day, it has a chance of hooking people to go, oh, I wonder what else is coming in this theme or this project or this series, or this. It could be, one way I'm sure people have done this to do Inktober would be to do a comic and release one panel every day, one something every day, because then you've got people that are following it, and I just think it has much more of an opportunity to get more eyes in front of it. I see another mistake that I see people doing with Inktober is, and it's a mistake that I made the first time I attempted to do it, is I just didn't have time. And so I thought, I'll just spend 10, 15, 20 minutes doing an image and then just upload it. And then I wasn't happy with what I was doing, and it wasn't getting any attention. And so it's basically time in equals the more attention you're going to get. So for me, I would say if you don't have time to really invest in it, and that's one of the reasons why I'm working ahead, and it's September now, and I'm going to have one to post every day. Again, some people will think that's cheating, that's fine. But, I want to put something that's high quality out there every day. And I would assume that most of the really good pieces of art that you're seeing done for Inktober, the really good ones, the ones that you love, a lot of them were not done the day they were posted. They were done ahead of time. Some done weeks ahead of time. Another thing that I would suggest for those who are thinking about Inktober, as I have been thinking about this, is I don't think you have to hit every 30 days. If you want to get if your quality takes a certain amount of time, and you can only post one in the month, there's nothing wrong with doing that. You'll get attention for that one day. If you can do 5, even better. If you can do 10, even better than that. And if you can do half the month, do 15, do one every other day. I think there's a lot of ways to do it, and I was one of those who got caught up in doing it right, and when I was, I made a video about when Jake got, I think it was 2 years ago when he got controversy about, he had mentioned himself that in the spirit of Inktober, he thinks that the best way to do it is to do ink, because he was asked, there was kind of a debate going on. Well, can you do it digitally? Or do you have to do it traditionally with actual ink? And he made them. I won't say he didn't make the mistake. He weighed in and he clarified and said, when I started Inktober, it was done with the spirit of traditional ink. So to me, I think he said something about, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but something to the effect of, I appreciate or I value traditionally inked stuff more than digital. I think he was totally in his right to say that. That's an opinion. Boy, did that create a firestorm of people just coming down on him with tons of hate about, people that are disabled, that have to use a digital means to do it or whatever. And my advice to those people who got bent is basically like, just chill, do what you want. It's a free world. The internet's free. You can post whatever you want. Don't worry what someone else says. If you don't like their opinion, do you. Just have fun, and do something that works for you. And if people don't appreciate it, those are the people. If people have crap to say, usually it says more about them than you. Usually it says, what they're saying is, my life sucks, and so the best I can do is bitch on film, and that's basically it, right? So to me, you got to be able to let those people go and just let them go have their. They've got to get their value some way, and they're not getting it through their art. So you're just, it's best not to get caught up with those people. So anyway, I am really looking forward to this, and I have, like I said, I have another project kind of planned after this, and I have actually struggled a little bit with the YouTube video thing, in that I am spending a lot of time on the 3-Point Perspective podcast, because every third episode, Jake, Lee, and I take turns coming up with topics, and those topics are kind of been robbing this YouTube channel in some ways, because topics that I probably would have talked about here, I end up using on the podcast, and then I don't feel like redoing them. But I am going to try to share more of what's going on in my life as an artist when I feel like there's something important to talk about, like this Inktober. And I would love for you to follow along and tell me your thoughts. And if you hate what I'm doing, you can say that in the comments, and I'll probably read it and probably just smile and move on past. Another thing I wanted to say on this video, since this is the first one, in like 4 months or 5 months, really, is how much I appreciate so many of you who reached out to me personally in DMs and messages and emails, and people sending me stuff. I'm talking about, my wife passing again, people that poured their heart out to me, and people that came out and basically, it would be the equivalent of testifying in church, really, about, how how appreciative they are of things that I've done. And the cool thing for me is, I just do my channel here, and I do what makes me happy, and I get a lot of love and I get a lot of thanks from people, and I don't often feel like I even deserve it, because I'm just doing what makes me happy, but those messages were very humbling, and some of them just kind of brought me to tears. Just the love that's out there, and that's what I want to focus on. Is I've just realized, the squeaky wheels are the ones that we end up hearing. The person who was, who flipped you off in traffic, we end up thinking about them all day long, when really we're surrounded by people who didn't flip us off, or who didn't get mad, or who we inconvenienced and they just let it go, and I just think that I just want to thank you guys, for reaching out, because there were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that did. So anyway, I'm glad to be back, and I will probably do a follow-up video to this to kind of show, and and if I get any freelance work from Inktober, I'll share that. If anything comes from it, because that's really, like, I think for you guys, or for a lot of people that are trying to make a living with their art, Inktober and challenges like that, the more popular ones, are really good vehicles to try to get your work out there and try to get clients interested in what we're doing, and things like that, as well as selling your own products. So anyway, and by all means, share with me your experiences. This might actually make a good podcast topic too. And I also have a link to the 3-Point Perspective podcast in here. And maybe that would be a good topic for that, is like, how did Inktober help you? And if you guys want to email me after Inktober and say, this is how it helped me, this is how I grew, this is what I got from it, I got this work, or I sold these products, or I got this opportunity that came from it, I got a job from it, anything, I'd be interested, because this might actually make a good podcast topic if there's enough people that can provide anecdotal information. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you later.